Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys have woken up on the right side of your bed and are you ready to waltz into your Wednesday with myself, Maha Mukhtoom. We have a wonderful show lined up for you. We are on towards the end of Ramadan and it has been a wonderful month. I have learnt a lot. I hope you guys have also picked up a lot of stuff during our first segment and our second segment where we have been focusing on more religious, spirituality, day-to-day life kind of things, and we've been offering you advice. And also for everyone out there, it is Eid soon, and I know a lot of people go away, especially from Islamabad, they go to their villages, and so the country becomes the city becomes very kind of slow, and it's quite nice. But before you guys go, and no matter what city you are in, Lahore, Karachi, even if you're abroad, and you are getting preparations ready for Eid, do make sure to remember to reach out. This is the time that we can make amends and build bridges. And that's what Ramadan is all about. It's about learning that forgiveness, that empathy, and, more of that gentle side of our personality. So it is a good time to reach out to those maybe that you have not been able to spend time with this year, or there has been some kind of animosity between you guys. So it's a perfect opportunity. So do start thinking about that before Eid. And my lecture, I feel like I preach at you sometimes, so I'm trying to avoid that. But this is something that we can all be doing. But now, before we get started with our very, very interesting show today, we have to look at the top stories and see what's happening around the world and within Pakistan. TV posters of the Magnolia Awards nominees are displayed at the Shanghai Exhibition Center on the sidelines of the 2018 Shanghai International Film and TV Festival. Good luck to all the nominees. Blue Planet 2 is excellent. Okay, moving on. A rare Chinese vase dating back to the 18th century Qing dynasty will go on auction in Paris today and could fetch a significantly higher price than its estimated value of 700,000 euros. Wow. Gotta appreciate our heritage and have value for it. Moving on, a New York restaurant chef hopes to strike gold with foodies by elevating the chicken wing by dressing it up in a simmering precious metal. Gold dusted chicken wings. Wow. And moving on, skipper Sarfaraz Ahmed has hit unbeaten 89 as Pakistan defeated Scotland by 48 runs in the first T20 International in Edinburgh. Well done, Pakistan team, and good luck for the rest of the series. Football World Cup 2018 kicks off tomorrow in Russia as opening match of the mega event will be played between Russia and Saudi Arabia in Moscow. Good luck to the teams, and I know because especially of what's happening around the world politically and all these things, all eyes are on the World Cup. So everyone who's there, be safe and enjoy yourselves. And it's all about, it's fun, it's about bringing people together, it's about building bridges. So, and I know there's, this football hooliganism, so I hope none of that, we don't get to see any of that happening over the course of the World Cup. Now, moving on, as you know, and for all our new viewers, we do in the first half of our show look at a verse from the Quran. And because we are nearing the end of Ramadan, we are focusing on things, the verses that are very important and, some things with very important messages. So today we will be looking at Surah Rehman, and it is all about showing gratitude and blessings and being grateful for the blessings given by God and by Allah. And we will be having a very interesting discussion because especially in 2018, I keep highlighting this point because, it's all about looking at life with a bit of hindsight. We need to take the wisdom of the previous generations and look forward. But in this day, it's, we have social media, we have different social pressures and external pressures that could affect who we are and our gratitude in life, and also make us blind to the blessings that are around us. But before we start our conversation, and before we introduce you our regular Dr. Kamal Gesser, who has been with us most of the So that was a little bit of Surah Rehman for you guys, and now we have been joined by Dr. Kaval Kesser, who is a pediatrician by profession, but has been a Quran teacher for over 20 years, teaching kids character building through the Quran and Sunnah. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so we are nearing the end, and as I mentioned in the introduction, we need to kind of really now take home the lessons that we've been trying to learn throughout the month. So what are we going to be discussing today?
Yes, I think Surah Rahman is the perfect take-home message because it sums up many messages which have been coming up in Quran. And basically, when we talk about life in general, I read this saying somewhere that the pace of life is so fast that if we don't stop and ponder and look around, we are most likely to miss out many important messages that it is passing on to us. So today we are going to be talking about the Surah Rahman, and I have picked up this one verse, and which has been spread out throughout this surah, and if we count it out, it is about 31 times. Okay? And the verse is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. The recitation you just saw, it finished off on that as well, which says, so which of the favors and blessings of your Lord you would deny? And this is like such an important message that has been, as I said, repeated 31 times. And it has been like, it's a repeated reminder to someone who becomes so indifferent to all the things we have. I have seen so many times for myself and also for so many my near and dear ones around that we blow things out of proportion. Like, I don't have this and I don't have that, and there's so many blessings we still have, and we sort of overlook them, neglect them, and that's when we become such a negative and pessimistic person. So if we try to break out how these blessings have been spread out in this whole surah, we find out that 8 times these blessings are in connection with the creation and the beginning and the end of a human life and the things that surround them. 7 times it is with the mention of hell, 8 times it is with the mention of heaven, and another 8 times it is with the mention of the highest ranks of heaven. And when we talk about, when we go through the whole surah, we see the sort of the style is, initially it starts with, why don't you recognize the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why don't you recognize these blessings? Can't you see this? Can't you see this? And ultimately, as we move towards the mention of heaven and the highest places of heaven, the style becomes so soft. It's like, see what you're getting, see, look at these blessings, look at these blessings, recognize these blessings. So a very beautiful style, and I would recommend to everyone. And we still have a couple of days before Ramadan, and I'm sure you're all glued to the recitation of Quran, so you can go over it and even go over the explanation of the surah.
Okay.
So 5 major areas where we need to work on gratitude have been mentioned over here. The first one is the heavenly gifts that come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how Allah cares about us, how merciful He is. He created us, He gave us book for guidance, He created all the systems around us,
Right.
which are there serving us. Second is the worldly gifts that we are enjoying around us. Third is the judgment day, and the picture that has been painted for the hellfire, it is very graphic and it is scary. And sometimes one wonders, how come, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about hellfire and He expects us to have gratitude? Because these are the verses which are going to put a stop to all the people who are aggressive in nature, or who are the one, like the criminals, so that they get this warning that I need to be doing something better with my life. I cannot mess up with other people's activities and their lifestyle. Then, as I said, the Jannah, and then we talk about the gardens of Jannah.
Right.
So basically, in a nutshell, what we need to understand is the surah tells us to develop gratitude inside us.
Right.
All the time we're struggling with this thing, the mothers, they keep looking at their kids and they're like, where did I go wrong? Because my kids, they are full of complaints. They're bored with life, they're bored with food, they have nothing to do, despite the fact that we have provided them every possible thing in life. So what is the missing link? Couple of things that we need to work on, and also pass this message on to our children and our family members. Number one, you can't be picky about having gratitude in your life. What you need to do is, you can't save gratitude for some humongous things that will show up in your life. Pick up small things and just say, Alhamdulillah, I'm so happy with my life. Second important thing is, we need to find gratitude even in the challenges we face. Because if we look back in our life, a challenge I had when I was so negative, I was so frustrated, but I made it and I learned so many new things from that. Then we also need to practice mindfulness, like actually sitting and acknowledging, maybe jotting down a couple of the blessings that Allah has given us, and actually pondering over them.
Okay.
What do I have?
And this is wonderful advice as well. This is for all parents and, parents to be as well that are watching, is that maybe if these habits were started young, sit down every day and put, list 5 things and then have a little discussion with your child.
Yes, and when the experts talk about mindfulness, I bring in the daily 5 prayers, because if you pray, and after your salah, what you do is you actually think about what are the different blessings I have in my life. I feel the way we are breathing, the way we are able to carry on independently our
Yes.
daily chores, that is such an immense blessing we have. Then for kids especially, what we do is we can have them have a journal in which they write down at least a couple of things every day, and some pointers why I need to be thankful for and how. Then experts say that if you learn to volunteer in different places, like providing service to the people who are underprivileged one way or the other, that brings in a lot of gratitude.
Right.
And that is exactly what we need to teach our children as well. Very interestingly, as one of the hadiths also narrates, that if you want to be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you need to also develop this attitude of being thankful to people around.
Absolutely.
So expressing to other people around you, when you're putting smile on the face of people, thank you so much, you did this for me, and I really appreciate that. That brings in this gratitude.
Okay, and also we are running short of time, so we need to make sure we get through everything. We've only got 2 minutes left.
Oh,
yes.
So all these verses, like verses which are there, and they are, each one of is connecting us to gratitude. And then we have this verse number 60, and this says, "Hal jaza'ul ihsan illa al ihsan." What is the reward of good but goodness? Like, if you are having this gratitude in your life, it is going to have that boomerang effect.
Right.
the goodness is going to keep multiplying in your life. It will keep coming back to you with positivity and also a lot of energy. So it is like a very, very important message, and I feel it is so simple. All we need to do is put aside our negativity, our pessimism, and our fast-paced lifestyle, and just pause in different places and think about all these elements.
Okay, wonderful. And you know, this is very relevant because we are living in the era of social technology and advancement and all the social media platforms. So just quickly as well, I know that you wanted to end on that note, but for all the parents out there as well, because you know, with these days we are seeing a rise in mental health issues, for example, depression, anxiety, and lots of different ones. There's a whole list of them. We can provide the information if you guys want it. What would you say about that? Because, you know, at times there are chemical imbalances. You know, it's the person doesn't want to be ungrateful, but they're depressed or they're not, you know, of sound mind, so they can't see these blessings and gratitude. What would you advise to them?
You know, even the experts, what they advise for all those people, because yes, when you are going through depression, there are a lot of neurotransmitters which are playing with you inside your head and brain. Even then it is recommended that the more you stick to healthy lifestyle, the more you're going to move towards positivity and gratitude, like daily walk, like trying to eat healthy, and like trying to socialize, even if bare minimum, but with the people who transfer you the positive energy. And these are the parameters which the psychologists and even the psychiatrists, they talk about to these people, because what it does, it settles down your neurotransmitters. And that is exactly what the surah tells us, that if you start enjoying the small blessings, those big blessings which are hidden behind them, they will also start becoming apparent to you.
Wonderful, and that's a wonderful note to end it on. Thank you so much for your time, and we will see you tomorrow morning for one of our last Ramadan specials. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break, and when you come back, we're going to be speaking about an international day which is being observed, which I haven't really seen in the last 4 years. So let's go take a break, and when you come back, I will reveal to you what it is.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. اے ایمان والو، صبر اور نماز سے مدد لیا کرو، بے شک اللہ تعالی صبر کرنے والوں کے ساتھ ہے.
The Shah Faisal Mosque in Islamabad, Pakistan, is among one of the largest mosques in the world. It is a popular mosque in the Islamic world and is renowned for both its size and its architecture. Covering an area of 5,000 square meters with a capacity of 300,000 worshippers. In 1969, an international competition was held in which architects from 17 countries submitted 43 proposals. After 4 days of deliberation, Turkish architect Vedat Deloki's design was chosen. Construction of the mosque began in 1976 by the National Construction of Pakistan. It has 4 88 meters minarets tower over the prayer hall. Inside, the ceiling soars to 40 meters and the air hums with muffled recitations.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد.
Welcome back, everybody. And before the break, we were discussing Surah Rehman and trying to be more grateful for the blessings and show some more gratitude, which is not always an easy task, especially with everything that we are faced with externally, you know, social media, grass is greener syndrome, etc. But now we are observing a very important day. This is actually one of the first times we've done it on our show as well. We have discussed the issues, I think, very briefly, but today is actually International Albinism Awareness Day. And this day was created, it started in 2015, June 13th, and it was decided in 2014 by the UN that this was an important date for people to make them aware, because there were a lot of issues that the albino community within different countries were facing. They were facing issues regarding inheritance, complications in their security, in their way of life, and also the socioeconomic impacts of it all. And, you know, on top of that, when we don't know about something, we tend to alienate it, and then we look at it as the other. And, you know, we have been discussing this on our show as well. And, you know, there are a lot of myths out there that they can see in the dark and that they're cursed. You know, there's a lot of superstition surrounding it. So today we're going to talk about what is the medical reasons behind albinism. Is it hereditary? What are the health issues? What are the complications? And what are the treatments out there within Pakistan? To discuss all of these issues, it's a very important thing to know. Just to note that is actually not that much information online. When, you know, me and my guests were also doing our research, you know, officially there isn't that many statistics that we can go by. But to discuss this very important awareness day, we have been joined by Dr. Rabia Nazir. She is an instructor at Shifa College of Medicine. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Besides Dr. Rabia Nazir, we've been joined by Dr. Masood Al-Hassan. He is a consultant eye surgeon. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Wa alaikum salam and good morning to
Thank you so much for joining us today. So, Dr. Rabia, I'm going to start with you because I feel like we don't actually have that much information out there. How does one get albinism? Is it a disease? How do we refer to it?
Well, it's a variant. If you don't call it a disease exactly, it's a variant, and it's inherited.
Okay.
It's from your parents, both of them.
Okay.
If one of them carries the gene, it might not be transmitted to it won't be transmitted to the offspring, but both of them have to carry the gene.
Okay.
It's a recessive gene, which means that if it has to be both the parents who are carrying the gene.
Right. So that is one myth we've already busted, that, you know, it is one gender's fault. It is a combined effort,
Exactly.
like most issues in the world today.
Exactly.
Okay. So now, if both parents are carrying the gene, they have a child with albinism. Is that how we refer to it? I need to, yeah, okay. But just want to make sure I get the right terms and the terminology. What are the medical consequences or effects of that?
What's happening here is the lack of melanin. The person who is an albino, they don't have the enzymes that can produce or make melanin, the pigment that's responsible for the coloring of our skin, that gives the dark color to our eyes, hair, and skin. And that is where the problem is. And that causes a lot of issues. These people are more prone to developing skin cancers later in life.
Okay.
They have eye problems because of decreased melanin in the eyes, and they have white hair as well.
They have what,
And
sorry?
white hair,
Okay,
because there
yes.
is no melanin.
Yes, of course.
Yes. So as far as medical problems are concerned, those could be addressed.
Okay.
Albinism could not be cured, but lifestyle modifications can be made.
Okay, so you know, so it is not a disease. It is not nothing like that. It is just a birth. You know, it's a genetic defect.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Do we say defect?
Yes.
Okay. So now you've mentioned very aptly about the different medical issues that they can struggle with, and one of them is eyesight and, you know, vision and etc. So Dr. Masood, please tell us a little bit about, you know, what is happening there.
Yeah, I mean, as doctor has, you know, mentioned, the problem is lies in the synthesis of the pigment.
Okay.
So we do have the pigment in our eyes which give colors to the eyes, like in the Asians we have the brown eyes, and in the Europeans have the blue eyes. So if they don't have the pigment in the eye, so all the light can pass through to the retina, so it can't be filtered at the level. So these patients are usually very photophobic, so which means they cannot tolerate the light. So then we need to, you know, address them, ask them to stay in the dark environment, and we give them the prescription if they want to go out. So they have to be careful so that there will be no damage to the retina. This is the one thing. And the secondly, they have the glasses, you know, the prescription as well. Their sight is bit less, and then they have a wobbly eyes, which means their eyes are not still, so they cannot, you know, focus on the objects, what we call this condition nystagmus. So they have a constantly moving eyes in the horizontal plane and in a pendular, you know, fashion, and sometimes they also have a turning of their eyes. Sometimes they do turn in and out, and you know, for that purpose they, you know, require a surgery, you know, to fix it.
Okay, so tell us about the surgery, because we are actually running short of time. So let's talk about the different kind of issues and what kind of surgeries they would be needed and the treatments available in Pakistan.
Yeah, you know, the surgical part is if they have the turn in the eyes, then we have to keep the eyes straight to prevent development of a lazy eye, what we call, you know, amblyopia treatment, because if the eye is turned in, so that part of the eye is not charged, you know, so the stimulus is the light. If the light is not approaching the retina, it's not falling on the center of the eyes, so that eye then become a lazy eye.
Okay.
So we need to, you know, do the treatment to prevent the development of the lazy eye.
Okay, wonderful. So there's preventative measures.
Yes, it is the preventative measures, and then we also, you know, advise them to, you know, stay in the house. If they want to go out, they have to be careful.
Okay.
If they have some you know, the glasses prescriptions, we do prescribe them glasses, and then there are other parts along with the eyes. We need to check their, you know, the blood test to find out whether they are prone to any systemic conditions.
Okay, so we
as
can
well.
find all of this out. Now, all of these treatments that you've mentioned, are they expensive within Pakistan?
No, not they are not very expensive. You know,
Okay.
to just have the site test. We have the facilities available.
Wonderful.
So
Excellent. So now, Dr. Rabia, Dr. Masood has highlighted very important things. Now, all of these, potential medical issues that someone who has albinism faces, does it affect their life, or can they, because over here we do have a lot of superstitions attached to it. We do stop and we do stare, and I was reading this one kind of blog where the child
I read
was
that too.
was
Exactly.
ostracized from their group.
Exactly.
So apart from, we'll talk about the social implications in a moment, but medically, like health-wise, they're completely 100%, active. They can do whatever. Correct? I mean, bearing in mind
Because of the vision limitation, they probably are not that effective, or they are not that active in life, because they're unable to be as competent at schools because of reading problems. They need bigger text, bigger fonts, and stuff like that. Therefore, we don't have friendly environment for them.
Okay.
So that's what discourages them. So as far as lifestyle is concerned, they are lagging behind,
Okay.
and
We'll
we
talk
do
about-
not
no, but we'll-
facilitate them.
No, but the thing is, we'll talk about the lifestyle stuff in a moment, but is there any major health issues or complications that they could potentially face going forward? Because I know, over here we don't, we term dyslexia as a mental health
Exactly.
issue, which is completely
not.
alien to me, which is not. So over here, do we, is that how we're seeing this issue?
Skin problems and
Okay.
eye problems.
Okay.
Yes, these are the medical issues they do face
Okay.
throughout their lives.
Right, and I do want to talk about the social implications, but I just want to talk about like you mentioned that they are more prone to skin cancer,
Yeah.
and and we've talked about the eyes. So, what can they do to protect themselves when they are stepping out? Because at the end of the day, they do want to be part of the society and community. They want to be active. So, what would you recommend?
Obviously, the dermatologist would be a better option to
Right.
ask this question to, but sunscreens,
Right.
they're a great help. And then again, it also depends upon the albinism, the skin cancer, how light skin is, and there are different grades. There's
Right.
grading of skin. So depending upon the grading of the skin, they can be treated accordingly.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, Dr. Hassan.
yeah, I just want to add the social thing. When the child is born, so this is very important. The take-home message for the parents is when the child is born, so they usually have white skin. So sometimes in the families they do think that the child is beautiful.
Yes.
So if they know that it could be a medical reason behind it, if they have the white skin and the white hair, so they need to consult a doctor.
Absolutely. Yes, Dr. Rabi.
Yeah, I would like to add something here. As far as social issues are concerned, I think there are a lot more social issues than we think or we bear in mind. Because talking to albinos, what I came across is that they want to know why are we like this?
Right.
And they do not have this feeling of belonging. It's very important. And we do ostracize them, we marginalize them. And I think they have their problems, they have to live with those problems. But what we need to do as a society is to support them by educating ourselves more, by educating people about different phenomena that exist in our society, whether it be albinism, whether it be any other physical deformity.
Absolutely. And on that note, we actually have run out of time. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you
today.
very much.
And it's
Thank
been
you.
very interesting, and we will do more shows on this. But also in 2014, I just want to say that researchers were working on families to curtail the genetic diseases, particularly albinism, and they've identified a novel locus and 11 novel mutations, permanent change in the sequence of DNA in already reported 4 albinism genes. So that will help them diagnose albinism in Pakistan population and develop its therapy as well. So, there are people working on it, there are people looking into it to make everyone's life better. And it's all about making it an inclusive society and community. As our guests have aptly mentioned, we should not be ostracizing anyone just because they are different. And actually, we should be celebrating our differences, and we should be learning from each other. And with that, I will sign off. If you would like any information about our first half, where we discuss Surah Rehman, about the blessings and gratitude, or if you would like any information about International Albinism Awareness Day, log on to our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning, our Twitter page, World This Morning without a G, our Daily Motion and YouTube page, World This Morning, and the repeat is at 11:05 p.m. this evening. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.